So, talking about the Merkaba. First, let me just give you an idea of what are these sacred geometry symbols very quickly, and then come to the Merkaba. So there are these symbols. There are many kind of symbols that we have been using from ages. Hieroglyphics to something else, etc. But one category of symbols are symbols which are geometric. Okay, so there are certain symbols that have been used from our ancient forefathers for a long time that have a geometric basis to it, and they also have been assigned with sacred properties. Okay, there are some symbols that have been used for fertility, some symbols used for better health, some symbols used to manifest things, some symbols used to access other dimensional wealths. There are many symbols, each symbol has a certain purpose. Symbols, according to me, sacred geometry symbols, are like keys, keys that open certain doorways for you. Yeah? So these are, closed doors, not everybody has access. And you cannot enter this until you have the password or the key. And you use the key and that doorway opens to whatever it is that is meant to be the purpose of that particular symbol. But all sacred geometry symbols have a certain basis to it. First basis is that they follow a certain ratio, a ratio called phi, or the golden mean or the golden proportion. Now I won't go too deep into explaining these things, but you will get this information, or you will get this information everywhere else. So all sacred geometry symbols, from whichever civilization they come from, seem to have the same basis. Though they did not talk, though the Mayan civilizations living in a certain context, a certain world, certain space, did not talk to the Mesopotamian civilization, and they did not talk to some other Chinese civilization way back, disconnected in time, but still they spoke to each other. Like they had this common, some kind of a link to all their symbology. Sacred geometry symbols from all civilizations somehow magically seem to have the same basis, right? The basis is two things. One is a center point. They all start from a dot at the center. Like the symbol you see, there's a dot at the center. It starts from there. The theory is it starts from a dot, that's the dot of creation, and then it builds forth. Then they all have this sacred proportion called the golden mean. So this is it for sacred geometry. Let's move to the Merkaba. So Merkaba is among many sacred geometry symbols, is one of the most secretive symbols. Now some sacred geometry symbols are accessible to everybody. Okay, they are put out there in the open. It's like public property, you know what I mean? They are out there for everybody to see, everybody to connect with, everybody to use. Okay, there are many other symbols like the flower of life, for example, like some yantras, for example, from the Vedic times. But among most symbols, the most secretly held symbol has been the Merkaba. So far, okay, it's only accessible to a few. I'll give you a theory behind it of why it is very secret. Now, I don't know how many of you have heard the Merkaba for the first time today, or must have heard it in the past, or encountered it. It is said that, my personal reaction, understanding, whenever I've spoken to a lot of people who have worked with symbols, have come across symbols, whenever a person comes across the Merkaba, starts to take it and use it as a tattoo, or start to use it in their own being, some big incident happens in their life. There's a big shakeout. Life seems to shake them up. Sometimes it's very scary things that happens, like accidents happening here, there, left, right, center. Sometimes it's like they're losing something, or sometimes it's they're losing their job. Something or the other happens. Basically, they have a shakeout. Okay, they have a very calm life, for example, and they start to work with the Merkaba. Suddenly, things start to get a little, shaky, right? So, but don't worry about it. I'll tell you the basis of it, and I'll tell you the thing about it. Now, we are not going to go so deep into it. That is why you are going to just understand it, know it, and as you start to work with it, you will know whether you want to go ahead or not. I'll give you the basis of this. That is exactly why secret, mystics have held it together. Because if we are going in a journey of exploring the metaphysical, or the dimension beyond the physical dimension, okay, there is grade 1, there is nursery, you have to go through. Then there is elementary school, then there is this, and there is graduation, then there is doctorate, post-graduation, doctorate, right? You understand? So there are many different layers you have to go through. So if a person who has not really gone through the basics is trying to meddle with that, they say it is not a wise thing. It's like a child, you are giving a knife to a child. Okay? A child does not know what to do with it yet. So obviously it will hurt itself. It will hurt something else. Right? So they say Merkaba is like a knife. So it is not good to be given to a child. It is always good to be given to a person who is already in that journey, spiritual journey, and move ahead. So don't worry, this session is not going to be so deep that you're all going to have knives in your hand and you feel like children. Okay, we're going to do some protective affirmations as well. This is an exploration for you. You're not going to have it in your hand and take it with you. This is an exploration. After this exploration, as you start to practice things, I'm telling this to you so that you are wary and aware of this fact. So if you notice that things are shaking out beyond your control, then you step back from it. Right? So they say these mystics have put an energetic wall around it. Right? Guarding it. So that people who don't know what to do with it don't access it. That is why when you get closer to it, this wall, like an electric fence, will start to give you shocks in your life. Right? So understand what you're doing. Yeah, always this Merkaba is, that's why, a very secretive symbol. But you don't have to worry right now. We are going to just show you, tell you, but in your practices, all I want you to be aware is that if you encounter things, don't just go tomorrow and say, allow the Merkaba and have a tattoo. And take a medallion and wear it. Even if you do, and if you start to work with it, and something's happened, just step back. Right? Maybe it's not time for you. Yeah? But if you encounter things and you know it's for your good and it's moving in the right direction, it's fine, go for it. Yes? So, among many symbols, so this is a little bit of an esoteric, yes.
Is it shaky?
Me? Actually, frankly, I've been working with symbols for 7 years now. Right? Merkaba is one of my more favorite symbols, but I haven't gone very, very deep into it. I've only gone to a certain extent with it. I've explored other symbols a lot more, and this one I approach it very respectfully. And I watch and I move with it very slowly, cautiously. Yeah, watch it and move with it cautiously. And I've been working with symbols for 7 years. I've done a lot of work, so I think I can go a little farther than somebody who's not done any work with it. So